Hello again. Day two. Meet yourself again. I'm Jennifer Walker, your business alignment coach. And I received some feedback from some varying sources that yesterday apparently I was cutting in and out. So I have done my utmost to make sure that I won't do that today. I mean, as much as I can control it. Um, so hopefully everyone will be able to see me the whole time. Apparently, in this app that I'm using today called StreamYard, I may not be able to see the comments as they're put up live. I do have my phone here, so I'm going to try and pop in and see comments as I go along. But apparently, there's some instructions that will come through to you guys on how you can comment live if you'd like to do that. So, welcome to day two. Did you do your homework from last night? It's okay if you didn't. You have some time to do this. The whole idea of doing it now was so that you would have the whole month of December and little smidge of November to sort of figure out your plans moving forward and not have to rush through it right in January. Take some time to marinate, to sit and figure that out. Figure out what you want. And that's what today is about. What do you want? What do you want? Do you know what you want? Some people can tell me right away what they want. And sometimes there's digging that has to happen. And sometimes what they think they want is not actually what they want. There's a deeper underlying thing. But sometimes you just know. So there's the question. Do you know what you want? Do you? It takes a minute to kind of sink into that. So because our minds, again, like I said yesterday, let's bring order to our minds first and then bring the order outward. Before we move in to what I have planned to talk about today, we're going to sit for a moment and breathe together. A little coherence, a little getting into ourselves, back into our bodies, back into our spirits, because I don't know what your day's been like this morning. I'm glad you're here, but I don't know what your day's been like this morning. So let's take it just a second. You can close your eyes if you want. I like to close mine. It helps me really center into my body. And just notice how you're breathing. Slow, fast. Are your breaths deep or shallow? Sometimes, if you pay attention, you can even tell which lung is filling more than the other. For me, that's my right lung today, in this moment. On your next inhale, take a deep breath in, rolling your shoulders up to your ears. And exhale, releasing them down. And just take a moment to feel how you're balanced in your seat. Are you supported? Are you even? Or is there more weight on one side than the other? And just check in. How am I feeling today? I'll set the intention as we move forward that you'll receive some information or get clarity on what it is that you want, need, or desire. On your next inhale, wiggle those toes, those fingers, bringing yourself back to the screen in front of you and to me, fluttering those eyes open. And we're back. It always just feels so good to do that. It even felt good to me just in that moment because I was like, I don't know what I'm doing with this StreamYard thing, but all you can do is try it, right? So hopefully this is working out for everyone. So just a reminder, and I'll be posting this into the comments afterwards. If you do want the PDF that goes along with this and you do want access to the videos, presumably this is recording, fingers crossed, send me love, guys, that that you want to have access to all this later, use that link, go and give me your email, and then you'll have access to the PDF that goes along with this and to the videos for the rest of the year. So you want that. Now, what do you want? It's your vision, but when you break down a vision into smaller parts, um, you're looking at something like your goals, your sets of goals. And a lot of people are more familiar with goal setting than vision setting. So let's start there for today. Have you ever heard of the word SMART goal setting? SMART goal setting. And it's not just a word, but I think it's called an acronym. So SMART, SMART goal setting. So the S stands for specific, the M is measurable, the A is actionable, the R is realistic, and the T is time sensitive, time bound. I've seen it a couple of different ways. Oh, look, I was just checking my phone and I can see you guys. So if you do comment on here, I'm going to check this once in a while. So those we're mostly familiar with that, right? SMART goal setting. And those are good. I have no problems with those. But I do think there's more. There's more to be had to setting those goals than just making them SMART, the acronym SMART. I also think that goals, if they are working towards your vision, this is where this comes in. When the goals are working towards your vision, there's more to that. One thing that is missing from SMART for me is that your goals should be aligned with your values. When we set goals that are not aligned or slightly misaligned with our values, we will hit more roadblocks and we might not know why it's such a struggle. Has that ever happened to you? You're like, why can't I just get this done? What's happening? And sometimes, yes, it has nothing to do with alignment to your values. It has to do with your mindset. I have had that happen. You know, the thing that you wait 6 months to take 5 minutes to do? Who's done that? The thing that you take 6 months, that goes 6 months before you take the 5 minutes to do it because there's a mindset block there. Sometimes it's mindset, but sometimes it's because the goal is not actually aligned with your values. It is a goal that might not be based on your passion, might not be aligned with your why, which is another part of that too. I believe that goals should also be based on your passion, and your why is part of making it an aligned goal. Oh, Cynthia, you're here. I can see you on the screen. I've definitely done that 6 months for 5 minutes. Amen, sister. It happens more frequently than I'd like to admit, for sure. So more so aligning with your values, your goals, making sure that they're based on your passion and your why. That's going to help make sure that those goals are really helping drive towards your vision. Goals are not just this nebulous thing like, I want to do this, so I'm going to do this, and it stops there. When you are building an intentional and aligned and an authentic business or life, making sure that the goals are aligned with your values and based on your passions and your whys will keep you going a little bit more. And Cynthia says, internally, we can feel when things aren't aligned with our values, even if we don't acknowledge that. 100%. 100%. And that's part of that going inward, right? Our first instinct is often to go outward. And I was talking about that yesterday, to go externally. But going inward will provide you, I'm going to say, I'll say almost always. Going internally will provide you almost always with the answer that you need, as opposed to going external. I almost want to say always, but I know someone's going to be like, well, I have this one example. So I'm going to say almost always, just to kind of kibosh that. And then, so align with your values based on your passion, but then also, and this is something that sometimes I get a little pushback on. Your goals should also be, not always, but sometimes, something that you don't necessarily know that you can achieve. Making a goal that you're like, I'm not sure how I'm going to do that. If it's driving to your vision, if it's pushing to your vision, your goal, a really great goal is going to be something that you're like, I'm not even sure how I'm going to do this. That's how you know you're growing. That's how you know that you're going to push through to that growth. And I'm not saying like, you have to pick something overwhelming. That's not the point. The point is that if all you're ever picking are things that you know you can achieve, your growth will be either slow or non-existent. And that doesn't mean that it's the same for everyone. Things that I'm like, I don't even know how I'm going to do this is something that like Cynthia might know completely how to do. Something that my husband's like, well, that's easy. And for me, I'm like, oh, I don't even know how I'm going to do this, because that's getting me to start thinking forward, to grow forward. So for your goals to be driving towards your vision, smart, yes, SMRT, 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 sorry, aligned with your values, based on your passion, and not necessarily something you know how you're going to accomplish. So the next time that you set a goal that's driving towards your vision, check in with those. Hmm? Check in with those and see, do I actually know how I'm going to do this? And if the answer is no, well, then you got a good goal on your hands. And the other thing is, so I have this great story. I love this story, and I heard it from someone. So if you've heard it before, you've probably heard it from the same place. And it's about the Wright brothers. Everyone knows who the Wright brothers are, right? They're those Orville and, oh my god, I'm blanking on his name. Orville and, if anyone knows it, type it in the thing. Orville and his brother, the Wright brothers, wanted to fly. They had a goal to figure out how to fly. Did they know how they were going to do it? Nope. Nobody knew how they were going to do it. A lot of people thought they were crazy, that it wasn't going to happen. How many times have you set a goal that people are like, you crazy? You don't even know how you're going to do that. Wilbur, Cynthia, thank you. Wilbur and Orville Wright. They didn't know how they were going to achieve it. But the part of the story that really gets me when you sit back and think about it is that they didn't know how they were going to achieve flight, and they lived in a time where a lot of people thought that flight was impossible. But the thing about it, and if you think about it, the ability to fly already existed. Something as massive as them in that time, not sure how they were going to achieve their goal of flight, setting a goal of that to the point that no one else knew how to do it. And they set that as a goal, but the ability to fly already existed. It was already there. They just had to try a few things and figure it out. So, whatever your goal is, and you think to yourself, I don't know how I'm going to do this, think to that story. Think back to that story and know that most of you who are setting your goals right now, someone else has done what you want to do. I can't know everyone's goal, but I can say most of you, someone's already done what you want to do. Now, they may not have done it with the same set of values that you're doing. They may not have done it with the same ideals of ideals of success in their minds. But you're not creating how you're going to do it. You are simply discovering it. It already exists. Does that feel impactful? To me, it felt hugely impactful. The way that you're going to succeed already exists. You just have to find it. For me, that was huge. That story, I love that story. So the other point about that is that we as human beings, we as living creatures, we as energy, because everything's energy, everyone is energy. We only can exist really in two states. One is a state of growth, and the other is a state of decay. That's it. And sometimes the growth, like I've been there, sometimes the growth can be so slow that you don't even realize there is any growth happening. And there are periods of rest in there, absolutely. But being in a state of decay or not growing is not healthy for most of us, for any of us, I would say. How many times have you thought to yourself, God, I feel so stuck? It's not something we like to feel. And when we're feeling a sense of overwhelm, the overwhelm is often because we have so much that we feel that we can't grow in any place or forge forward in any given direction. So goals are important to your growth towards your vision or within your vision. So that's why this is so important. That's why this conversation is really, really important. And I have on your page some exercises for you to do. And like I said, I've been doing it. I've been doing my exercises. Mm-hmm. And I divided it down into personal and professional goals for you guys so that you ladies, you gentlemen, so that you can sit down and you can figure that out. And I have take 5 minutes and list them all out. Keep going, keep writing. You might find a gem at 4 minutes and 37 seconds. You might have clarified that down. Just keep writing. Keep writing. Don't let the pen, don't let the pencil, don't let the quill stop. Keep going. Keep writing. Write them all down. And then as you're doing that, and we're talking about the how can stop people in their tracks. I don't know how I'm going to do it, so I'm not going to set it as a goal. No, that's against the rules. Sit down, write as much as you can, and don't think about how you're going to get there. Don't think about the how. Don't think about the current climate of what's happening right now. Don't think about any of that. Just think about the what, not the how. Okay, so that's part of your homework there. And then once you've done that, this part's harder than that. But we can do hard things. This part is where you are going to circle the things. So I squared them. I don't know if you can see that. I squared them. You're going to do the one thing. And how do you pick the one thing? So sometimes it's easier if you start and you see umbrella sections. So you're like, okay, these 3 goals actually go together and therefore they're an umbrella section. These 2 goals are very similar, so I'm just going to narrow it down to that. Go through that as a first step, but eventually what you want to do is you want to pick one thing off each list, professional, personal. And that one thing is going to be the thing that will either remove things off your list or make them easier. That's the whole philosophy behind that book, The One Thing. Pick the one thing that will make your life easier or will make things on your list obsolete. So hopefully that makes sense to everyone. And once you've circled that as a priority goal that will drive your vision, again, please don't get stuck in the how. It's so easy to get stuck in the how. This is where you're going to put your order into the universe, put your order into spirit, put your order into God, however you want to word it, you're putting the order in. This is what I desire. This is my vision. Okay. So you have the place where you can write those down, but I have a few rules. About this one to help you really get the most impact out of these statements that you're going to write. One is that, first of all, you're going to write it down. That's the rule. You're making it tangible. It's important to make it tangible, writing it down. You're going to write it in a positive sense. So if anyone's thinking about something, writing something like, I want to be debt free, that's not positive. You're focusing on the debt. You think, oh, the free part is positive. No, you're focusing on the debt portion of it. There are people who are debt free who are living in, trailers by the ocean. And maybe that's their journey and that's their vision and that's fine if that's what they actually want. But they're they're debt free. Is that what you want? It needs to be specific. So positive, specific. And it also needs to be emotional. So, what emotions are you going to attach to this? It's really important to have that emotion, because then once you have that emotion, you can sit within that and you can really feel through your goal and your vision. Um, and again, no instructions on the how. No how instructions. If you want to have a really massive, beautiful house and you want it to be fully paid for, you can't say, I want to win the lottery so that I can buy my house and la la la, because then you're making it too narrow for it to become manifested. The best thing that you can do is ask for it to happen in your highest good. The sentence that I like to use there is under grace in perfect ways. And people who know me have heard me say this a lot. So whatever it is, ending your sentence, ending your affirmation, ending your goal set with under grace in perfect ways is a really great way to clarify that the way it gets there doesn't matter to you so much as it gets there perfectly. So that's important to do too. And then once you've done that, oh, and deadlines too. So if there's a deadline that's applicable to that, if let's say it's a weight loss goal, that's one of the easiest ones to set a deadline to. And that's where the SMART comes in. So if you're like, I want to be 50 pounds lighter by Christmas, not going to happen, not physically possible, unless it's in a really bad way. But you want it to be under grace and perfect ways, right? So making sure that they are SMART goals, but that you have a deadline set to them can be a really powerful way to help that manifestation start rolling, because you're saying, I'm ready for this. Once you have it, I encourage you to share it with someone. Share it with someone that you believe who will not be judgmental. Feel free to share it in the group. I would love to see them once you have them written out. If you're like, I think I did this okay, but I'm not sure, feel free to post it in the group and I'll take a look at it, and we can go from there. If you don't want to be that public about it, you can direct message it to me. That's okay too. I would love to see your goals and your affirmations. I think it would be lovely. And yeah, just all those things that are bringing together the possibilities for you. And then once you have it, sharing it and then really just sitting in the emotion of it and feeling your way through it and doing it on the daily. I actually have a card now. What is it? I moved everything on my desk so that I could be nice and clean for you guys to see everything. Now I can't see where my card went. I have a card. Maybe I'll show it to you guys tomorrow. And it has my goal and my affirmation written on it. It has the emotion, and normally it sits right here so I can see it. Like I said, I moved everything around, so now I don't know where it is. Anyway, oh wait, here it is. Yay. Light. There we go. So I have that there, and it has my emotion attached to it. It has my goal. It has my deadline. Now, sometimes you can't put deadlines into the universe, but sometimes you can. And it's there, and I look at it every day when I sit down at my desk to do my work. I look at it and I take 2 minutes and I sit in the emotion of it. And it's such a great way to start your day as well. So I encourage you to do that. Have that sheet out, put it out. So you'll have the sheet with your goals, with all that. You print it off, put it somewhere that you're going to look at. Now, super fun. I have kind of a surprise for you guys. Well, it's not a huge surprise, but I have included in this. So if you have access to where you downloaded the PDF, you will have access to this. I recorded a brief what's that, like, tutorial on how to create a vision board in Canva. So I think it's 5 minutes long. If you are not familiar with Canva, you can go watch the video and see how to create an online digital vision board that you can download and print off, that you can put as the screensaver on your phone, that you can do with all of these things. So really exciting. And then once you have it, you can sit, you can look at it and just feel into it. Feel into how wonderful this vision feels to you. So that's there for you to look at anytime up to the end of the year that you want. You'll have access to that the same place you have access to these videos and the PDFs. So that's an extra gift from me to you. So I'm just going to look here now on the comments section on here, just in case some of them didn't come through. Ooh, that's my voice. That's my voice. Look here now on the comments section. You guys. It looked like all the comments were the same, so hopefully I got through your comments okay on that one. Thank you so much for your patience here as I explore this brand new app. And if you have any further questions, please do share them in the group. And also, if you've been enjoying this, or if you think any of this would resonate with anyone that you know, please feel free to share. There are 3 days left. There's 3 days left of this. And if you know someone who would either like to join live or might like to watch the replays, please do share it with them. I'd absolutely love to see them in the group, because if it resonates with you, it'll probably resonate with them too. So thank you so much for joining me for day 2, and I'll be back again tomorrow at noon, possibly on this if it worked properly, and possibly just on the regular Facebook Live. In the meantime, you know where I'm at if you have any questions. Thank you so much for joining me.